Live on Twitch.
Live on Twitch. We stream this?
Sometimes.
And I even opened up Twitch chat. That's how prepared I am.
No way to pop out. Yeah, no, I don't know.
That's the thing. I always end up with my face in two places, and one of them's lagged. And well, just give me the chat.
Yeah, no, you just pop out the chat and then close the other Twitch window.
Don't let me pop it out. How do you pop out the chat again?
The settings button by the chat button. The little wheelie.
Look at you.
Hey, this is the only reason I know it is because I had to ask Dizzard like a million times.
Hey, Ensign.
Right here. Hi, Ensign. Okay. Give my sippy sip. I don't have a sour monkey.
And Ensign, let's just formally apologize that Dizzard, our guy, apparently doesn't know anything about military ranks and does not know the word ensign.
I didn't know that he was doing military rank. There's other words for ensign.
It depends on your, where you are in the military, right? That's
Also,
naval,
I wasn't
typically.
in the Navy. I was Army, man. I wasn't Navy. Like,
Okay, you're bringing logic into my trolling. This
You've
is
never
totally
watched a
irrelevant.
movie?
what are movies?
At least he wasn't a Marine,
Have you
right?
not seen Star Trek? Like,
Yeah. It's all based on the Navy.
yeah,
What's Star
that
Trek?
is an official Star Trek military rank.
Okay, let's
even
go
though
get
it's not really
started
military.
here. I'm gonna hit buttons.
Okay, button those hits.
Pew pew woo. Womp womp womp.
Stretch out with your feelings. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Welcome to another episode of Rogue Support, where we are always in your corner of the cantina. As always, thank you for listening. Come join the discussion in Discord, where Omnis has worse hot takes than he does on the show. I'm gonna keep running with this one.
Worse hot takes? Is that the words that we've been using each time?
No, it's I changed one word every
Okay.
single time. I changed at least
Oh,
one
okay.
word.
All right.
This time it
I'm
was
catching
worse.
on now. All right.
Yeah, last time it was even wilder hot takes.
Okay, that's where I was confused.
A big thank you to our patrons for supporting us all the ways. We'll be be sure to go check out Good Hammer because we're part of the Good Hammer network and we joined forces with them. Yeah, I'm not here right now. Anyways,
Good hammers
Ensign,
never say die.
true. Let's just jump into it because it's my bad. Hot takes, cold drinks. Let's go. I'll go first. I have a berry monkey. It's not a sour monkey. It's a berry monkey. It's still a sour though, and I don't like it as much as sour monkey. I saw them in the store and I was like, let me try these to see how good they are. They're okay. They're not the best. I like sour monkey more. It's more tart. This is just kind of like it's a sour, but it's not like that sour that I want.
Is
So,
it Jamie
it's-
Tart?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sorry, I've been
actually.
watching Ted Lasso for the first time, and
No, I
so
mean like
you
that's
made me.
that's fine. A little
Such
bit.
a good show.
It is a little bit. As far as hot takes
Who's shrinking
go,
next?
I think. I don't know. I feel like Armor is kind of overstated in her prowess, and people are kind of freaking out for no reason.
Isn't that just Matt's hot take from last week?
Yeah, actually, I'm stealing it though.
Okay,
I'm doubling down on it. Like to be completely honest with you.
But
like,
you and I disagreed with him last week. I'm very confused as what's going on.
I'm just trying
And he
to
beat
like,
me this past week with her,
just trying to like throw some like false flags
Yeah.
out there.
You're just like,
Um,
don't everyone plan for Armor that I'm
Yeah,
planning
she's
to play
fine.
at PAX.
Don't worry
Okay?
about her.
Wink, 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 wink.
No, I honestly, I do think that like she's good, but I think that she. It's like I'm trying to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I threw bananas on it. Armor is the bananas, where it was simple, and then she just kind of complicates things.
Elvis swore by that though.
It's such a good sandwich. I'm not gonna lie. Like put some
That
honey
is
on it
such
too.
a complicated analogy.
But it works,
Like,
right?
okay,
That's
peanut
exactly
butter
what I'm trying to
jelly
get at.
Does it work?
That added
Yeah, it works.
bananas, and then I'm like, and then acute, and then
Works.
armor
just-
is the bananas, and I'm just
just-
like, and then Gwen Stefani comes in, and she's like,
just-
BANANAS,
No,
bananas.
I just feel like she gets
That
talked
take was
about.
bananas.
She gets talked about like she's like super simple and straightforward and basically Vader 2 reincarnate. But she's not. Like there's way more pieces going on, and I just think that it's not as straightforward as I feel like the general community has made it seem. And maybe I'm just being biased here and trying to defend that I'm playing a simple character when I don't think it's simple. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. Where I'm gonna give up.
Rancor pit for Dizzard. Me no likey hot take. Go into the pit. No lightsaber for you. Fight them off with a bone. By the way, am I the only person as a kid who snapped Cheetos in my mouth the way that the Rancor snaps the bone? And that made, like, whenever I was eating Cheetos, I thought
I
of
did it with
Return of the Jedi.
pretzels. I did it with pretzels.
Oh. Yeah, I did it with
Pretzels
the
for sure.
Cheetos.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are all pretzels guys.
Yeah.
All pretzels.
I prefer pretzel to a Cheeto every time.
Agreed.
Probably now I agree with that. As a young child, Cheetos.
That's fair. Matt,
Okay, so if you're at a, let me ask you a question though. If you're at a bar and you order a pretzel, are you a beer cheese or a mustard guy? That's the real make or break.
Oh, I'm not a mustard guy at all.
I hate mustard. Mustard is
And-
disgusting.
I also don't like eating that much food while I'm having a beer, especially because I have very strong flavors of beer. Like IPAs, you kind of have to have very specific food if you're going to drink them at the same time. So I don't usually snack on something while I'm having a beer. But
What is the
uh,
best food with an IPA? For your palate?
spicier food.
Really? So I
Because
don't
the-
really.
the-
I don't like wings like or spicy food in general
Nah,
with
tracks.
IPA. I like a burger. I got like a juicy burger with an IPA. That's what I like.
It may still work. It just has to be strong. Like very mild flavors just get totally overpowered by an IPA. So you got to have something stronger.
Okay, Matt.
So my cold drink, I'm still going through this Fidden stuff. I have an accessory pigment. It's a double IPA. It's probably my least favorite out of this like variety pack that I got. So good, but least favorite so far. My hot take, I'm gonna save my one that I want to wait for next week when we talk about the pack stuff. But I'm gonna go with something that's not 100% Shatterpoint related. But today, as I was doing some reorganizing and stuff, I realized the gaming industry wastes so much plastic and cardboard in their packaging. It's insane.
True.
Like I finally met up with my painter this morning to trade off everything, and I finally opened up like the last wave of the boxes that I got so I could break it down a little bit smaller and give it to him. And I'm just like, how much extra crap do I have that feels very unnecessary? But that's it. That's my hot-ish take. That probably isn't even that hot. Because I don't want.
Well, I can tell you that that's a lot of that packaging has to do with display purposes, like not efficiency of the boxes. It's like, how does things fit on shelves? What kind of shelves do game stores work? How big do you want something to be to balance on a shelf? It has mostly to do with that as opposed to any sort of efficiency.
Wait a
And I
minute.
hate it because it's not efficient.
Wait.
Yeah.
When you were playing 40K, was it plastic models yet, or is it still metal?
I played it was mostly plastic.
Okay, so you should know the lack of efficiency with plastic.
No, because because if I opened up a GW box, it's a thin outer layer of cardboard with some models in it and one piece of paper with instructions. I opened up a Shatterpoint one, and I have several extra layers of cardboard because they have the whole interior extra padding. I'm getting a plastic bag full of models. I'm getting another plastic bag full of cards. And actually, I have no issue with the every language of card because that's actually more efficient in the terms of product and making everything because you don't have to divide it specifically by by language region. So I like that part. But yeah, I don't think GW is that bad. But like board games are really bad as well because like all every stack of cards is individually plastic wrapped. So I don't know. It was my
GW has never been great at like board game store marketing. Like they're just so big that everybody has to carry them that it doesn't matter. And just places like AMG have to think about like how do these things fit on shelves? Like what sort of marketing material and like how big do the pictures on the front of the boxes have to be to grab people's attention? And it's a bunch of it's marketing. It's just marketing, for better or worse. That's the reality.
The only thing that bothers me about the languages being in the other box was like when I played X-Wing, it was a huge like fun collector's thing for me if I was in Europe to go and buy like a fighter or something and get like the German cards, the French cards just to have them because that was cool. But well, now I can have them in Polish even just buying them here. So I kind of miss that fun part of the hobby.
Okay.
I'm indifferent there. I remember
Yeah.
collecting Japanese magic cards for some stuff, but yeah, let's just make it easy to read.
Fair enough. Accuser.
Cold drink. I made an old fashioned tonight, so that's what I'm drinking. It's almost gone. We're running behind. Um, hot take. I don't know if I've got a good one this week. I guess I could go other Star Wars game related. I'm having a lot of fun playing Star Wars Unlimited, and I think it's one of the better competitive card games I've played. Um, so I guess that's my hot take. Is it's a really good game and worth checking out if you want to just get like a starter pack.
Todd has almost convinced me to jump in.
You card crack
I'll-
dealers.
I will bring decks 2 packs if you'd like. I think
Okay.
Matt has some too. We can make a thing out of it.
yeah. I basically won. I have a playset of everything from the first set, and that was largely it for me.
All right. What's your on this?
Let's see. So I'm having Bodhisattva, one of my go-to beverages, and my hot take is going to be, so some of the listeners may not realize this, but we had a windstorm in Washington this past week, so I did not have power for a good chunk of the week, and I was trying to get terrain done. And because of where I'm at, like when the power goes out, I was losing internet on my phone, but I was like kind of close enough to some other tower that every once in a while I would just get some updates on my phone. But then I wouldn't be able to respond to anything. I would just like see some updates because I was like, it was like the wind blew the, cell phone data or something close enough to me for a second. I have no idea how it worked, but I would just get updates, but then not be able to respond to anything. And there's this one point, like right in the middle of this week, where I have no power and I'm totally disconnected from everybody. I just get an update. I think it was on one of my YouTube videos, and it was just like this super nice 2 sentence compliment from a listener and a member of the community. I don't know. It just hit me in the moment where I was like, yeah, this is why I do this stuff, because people really do appreciate it. And so I wanted to shout it out on the podcast. I maybe it's not a great hot take, but my hot take is that we have a really fucking great community. Like our Discord is rarely ever negative. Like when I see negative stuff, it's almost always in a different Discord. We seem to have genuinely good discussion. People want to interact about the game. People actually like engage on fun things and just like want to enjoy the experience together. And then like for everyone who's out there who's like, when you do enjoy an episode or enjoy a YouTube show or something, like you don't know how much that like 1 or 2 line, like showing of appreciation really does truly matter. So yeah, that's my hot take. You're all fucking great and I love you.
Wow. All right. I guess let's roll right into what you've been up to. Let's go, Matt.
Not a ton this week. I have been incredibly absent, especially this last week on Discord and everything. I think I sent like 2 messages total. My last week on one of my projects that I'm handing off, so it's been a nightmare. And then I just did some organizing and cleaning today. So I finally got like cleaned up some shelves, reorganized my Shatterpoint stuff. Yeah, that's it.
On this.
So despite the power being out, I've been working on terrain, which I think the people in Discord have seen me posting pictures of stuff, and I learned that the ring lights that I use for streaming can run off of a portable battery. So there was definitely a night this week where I just plugged in my ring lights to a battery that I charged at work, and then I'm just like painting terrain and putting snow effects on stuff. And that was all because we were doing the first premiere event at Mox in Bellevue. And we ended up having 11 people playing in it, which was great
Nice.
as far as I was concerned. I would love an even number. Because I was recording games and I was going to run it, I elected to not play. So I was a little sad that we had to buy. But it was super fun. Great mixture of people playing different things. There was this super cool moment where Garrett was playing Thrawn and Lando, and his opponent was like, "Well, you haven't spent any force right now, so this is a great time to make you, kill one of your primaries, so you reshuffle." And then right in the middle of an activation, he's like, "All right, well now I'm handing out force status effects," and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, you haven't taken the second attack with that unit. You're strained, and like, and so if you take the other attack, the wounded dies. Like, it was just like, until it happened, it was just such a mind blowing moment where I was like, I had not even considered that interaction of, yeah, the way that Thrawn's reshuffle the deck works with Lando. Oh, I have spare force and I'm reshuffling, so you get status effects. So that was just really cool to see, and I just felt like it was just seeing some really cool interactions, and people were pumped out stuff. 2 people brought Cody because I was giving away a foiled Cody card. So there was multiple like Codys in action. It was super cool. There was another guy who showed up who like hasn't played much, and he just had like one Ewok list. But he kind of showed up late, and so he was just like hanging out and watching games. I don't know. It was just a great community moment, and I'm really excited to see more in-person tournaments, more, getting together playing games. Loved it. It was great.
All right.
And let me shout out Qui-Gon Jinn real quick because he's trying to
Yeah.
get me to play a bounty hunter list of Lando, Bosk, IG-11, and Leia, Boba Fett, and bounty hunters, which might happen. I need to figure out what I'm going to play next. I didn't really think about lists that much this week because I was focused on terrain. But yeah, I need to go into the list dojo, find some cool shit. But I'm excited. Anyway, that's it for me. Who's going?
Accuser.
Well, I got my first game with Dizzard this week. I played into the armor. Was it the armor and Maul?
Yeah.
Dizzard can help me recap this one, and with Spectres, and it was a pretty good game on Sabotage Showdown. I lost 2-1. I don't know. The first struggle I think was pretty fast-ish for a Sabotage game. I think it's one of the faster TTS games I've ever played, which was really nice. I ended at a nice early time for me. Second struggle was a terrible flop for me, but I somehow pulled it off and kept in the game. And then, yeah, I mean, Dizzard took the third struggle. Do you have anything you want to
I think it was
recap more in detail?
There's something of
What
note.
did you
like,
play, Accuser?
You played Spectre.
Oh, I ran a Spectre, so Kane and Hera.
Okay.
I think there's
Good
something
pack
of
spread.
note. Something of note here is like the second struggle we flipped it, and it was like, this is bad for you and only good for me. It doesn't matter which way you go. And like after what I think it was after like the second draw of the cycle, he was scoring 4, and I was just like, we're both like, I don't know how this happened, but it's happening. like he was about to say we should probably just re-rack. I'm like, let's play it. We're both like, we'll play it out. Never mind. But we're both.
I was
just
getting
sitting
stomped
there.
pretty hard. I was like, maybe it's worth trying a sec. You know what? Omnis always says, like, ride it out, see what happens. And I wrote it out. I was like, oh, I can come back. This is fine.
Yeah. And
There's a lot more depth to it where you got to like also think about like which characters are left in whose decks and like where they're,
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to like process all of that stuff in the moment. And
then-
sometimes just a key priority roll and a key order deck flip, and suddenly you're like, fuck, I'm back in this. Let's do
No,
this.
what it really is just like what said in the last episode. Accuser has magic commandos that just hit whatever they want and get it every single time, and you can't kill them unless you're like going down their throat with a ball.
My commandos usually do work. I don't know why, but
Rebel
they show
Commandos
up in
are
every Rebel
insanely
list. Yeah.
good. They always do work.
I think they did more work than Kane in that game. Like, to be straight
That's
up.
normal.
Like, they
That's a hot take.
that is a hot take.
Dude, they're always rolling like 8 dice with pretty reasonable expertise, and they have great trees, and they're range 5. Like, Rebel Commandos
And they're
do
really
a lot of good
mobile.
work.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
do
like-
a quick poll. Let's do a quick poll. Cast poll. Let's go with Matt first. Between Dark Troopers, ISF with like their whole package, Clan Kreese with their whole package, or Rebel Commandos with a package, what is the best out of those things that you'd want to take? Matt
That's a
first.
stupid comparison because
No,
Rebel
it's not.
Commandos are like
They're
the
all
only one
supports.
in there who don't actually have an interesting package. They're just
That's
a
true.
great solo unit. Like,
No,
you
that-
pick
I mean,
3 things that are
but-
all synergy, and then
Okay.
one thing that's like the great standalone.
But does that
you
does that
haven't run them
speak-
with 3 cost Luke then, because that just makes them even
But-
crazier.
But
Yeah.
but does that also just speak to the power of Commandos that they're actually in conversation with these things that have to bring a package, and they don't?
Yes.
Like, and so that makes it a worthwhile conversation. So Matt, do you want a package or do you want 2 lone dudes that are just sniping fools?
I mean, if you're talking about what I think is the best to bring, I would
Yeah.
say Dark Troopers because their package ultimately does include Gideon Hask anyway, so they kind of cheat and get the scout package anyway.
Okay.
But I think you're talking about just unit standalone.
Yeah.
It's very close Commandos versus Dark Troopers, and ISF are, I think, standalone with no Gideon Hask a good bit behind.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I think ISF are out of the conversation without Hask. I think they're good, but they're like
They need Hask.
they need Hask to shine.
Yeah.
Omnis, where you at? You're obviously Rebel Commandos. Accuser, where you at?
Well, no, I would just say, like, I do think the Dark, like, overall, like, assuming no synergies, like, just standalone, I would
Yeah.
probably choose the Dark Troopers over Rebel Commandos. But Rebel Commandos are probably my second pick over, like, any other unit in the game.
Mhm.
And then, like, ARFs when you're factoring in Republic. Like, those would be my top 3 units in the game. And then, like, special shout out to, like, Fifth Brother. And then I think, like, then we start getting into, like, Mandos, like, whether you like Covert Mandos or Clan Kreese. But, like, that would kind of be my, like, top 5 units.
Hot take. Fifth Brothers efficacy is going down.
I think that has, I don't know if that's that hot. I think that's been a thing since we basically.
It's been a
got to
trend for
more
a while,
shooting.
yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
I think
there were more shooting models.
I think Armor Box made him plummet. I'm not gonna lie. Like he's
I-
such an easy target now. Like he just
I
goes
think he
down
was
so
plummeting before.
But I think she's put the nail in the coffin.
He's still a top 5 unit.
He shouldn't be.
No, he
Top
is.
5 unit, like overall.
Top 5 support unit.
Okay, I could buy that, but not top 5 unit.
Yeah. No, I mean,
But
comparing
that, but so
cross comparing
but
supports
the-
and secondaries
okay,
is
but
pointless.
the thing is though, is like top 5 unit would imply that he should not be in as many lists that he is in.
No.
Yes.
Benson, wait, do you go back to the hot take section?
All right. Anyways, what was the question? Oh, Accuser, what's your thought for the poll?
Oh, 100% Commandos. I'll take them every time. Dark Troopers, I get why they're good on paper. But if I'm playing Empire, I'd actually rather take the Elite Squad Troopers because they're another support that just seems to outperform every time I play them. But yeah,
They
Rebel
die
Commandos.
really easy.
My Elite Squad Troopers have like solo Dark Troopers, no problem. Like I'm
Yeah.
All right. So I'll say this. I actually think Rebel Commandos are the best of these. One thing, they just give you an easy start and never tell me. 2, there is so much expose in the game of Shatterpoint right now that Dark Troopers defense doesn't fucking matter. Like you're probably playing in something that has expose and your defense isn't gonna matter as much. And then
it's
they
the best
become-
part of Commandos. If they get exposed,
doesn't
whatever.
matter,
You're
their
losing one
expertise
result. Yeah,
sucks.
it's fine. Yeah,
But like I
it's
just
a
think that the-
non-factor. It's great.
I think it's just the fact that like they have good offense. They die easy, but all supports die easy minus Dark Troopers. But now with how much expose I see, like I just feel like it doesn't matter as much as it used to. I feel like Commandos are probably top of the supports. Yeah.
So you agree with me that they're just good? This.
You said
I'm
Dark
lost.
Troopers. You said Dark Troopers. I said Rebel Commandos. I'm agreed with the accuser.
Yeah.
Okay, what you been up to? For me, I've been painting a lot lately, actually. I've been crushing some paint. My list for packs is fully painted. And then some, because I'm gonna bring a whole bunch of extra stuff in my box, so I can't make a decision.
Oh, I'm bringing extra stuff too. Don't feel bad.
And then if I forget, I'll probably just end up borrowing Matt's Lando and R2, so I can steal them again.
Yeah, ransom them all.
Maybe I'll pack mine just to be nice.
And then let's see. Then just playing games, just trying to get as many reps in what I can with this list, and trying to just shore up any holes that I have. I think I'm down to like one last contention point that I'm kind of torn between, but I guess that's neither here nor there. So.
And as soon as you solve it, you'll re-rack the entire list and start over. It's
More
our
than
it's our
likely.
favorite part.
I got 2 weeks, so I have more than enough time to come up with a whole nother list. It's fine. It's probably gonna happen.
When it's time to
Yeah, he'll
mess
change
it all
primaries
up.
at least 3 more times.
Probably.
Question is how many primaries get changed 3 more
Yeah.
times.
I mean, it's only between 3 primaries, so it's not that bad. Like,
So one's on lock.
what?
No,
So
it means he
one's
has
locked
3
then.
No,
potential
I have-
primaries
I
for a
have
spot.
3.
Oh.
I have 3 locks. Like three squads are locked. It's the 4th squad that I just can't lock down to where I'm like, I'm 100% this. Is
I'm
my
not
mistake.
convinced you
I was
truly
giving you
have
credit.
3 locked.
what?
I'm not convinced you have 3 locked.
I've had the 3
Yeah, because
same
that
pri-
fourth
I've
one's
had
gonna get locked, and your third one's gonna be a
I've
shift
had
again.
I've had the 3 same primaries since we started doing this list, and then that last squad's the only one that's been rotating, and I'm still between the same 3 primaries for that last squad. So we haven't gone anywhere. Oh man. I guess we can get into the main topic, and this week we kind of wanted to just like have like a whole fun, wholesome episode. I guess we're just a ramble. Is this a rambling episode?
It's a ramble episode. Happy
Oh my
holidays, right?
goodness.
I was so Dizzard. What I had envisioned when we all agreed to do this
Yeah.
is that you would kind of do a round table, and we would just like kind of go in circles across the hosts,
Whoa.
mentioning stuff that we're thankful for.
No, that's actually probably where I was gonna head with this next. Thanks
Okay.
for thank you for the.
Did I jump ahead? That is what we're doing now, right?
That is what we're doing.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, did I miss a section? Oh, we're going back to hot takes, round 2.
Yeah, hot takes
No,
round
round
3.
three.
Secondsies.
Round 3. Qui-Gon did in the chat. Dizzard, are you leaning on Mando with armor or Maul with armor? I think Maul with armor is superior to Mando with armor. Hot take.
I can attest it is pretty solid.
I definitely started more in the Mando camp, and then Evil Houdini, Scott, local to me, kind of convinced me of the Maul side. So
Yeah.
I can see both. I definitely think it's more of a play style thing. I think if you're the type of person who thinks Maul's just there to run and kill something, play the Mando side.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you know what? I gotta say this is because like Accuser flattered me so much during our game. At the very end of the game, he's like, I have never played a Maul that was played this way. I was like, oh.
I think what I
Did he
said
actually
was the
say
first.
he's-
No, what I said was, this is the first time I've fought into a Maul that was played this competently. I think is how
Oh,
I
okay.
phrased that.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I feel like his wording was probably something more
I
like, this
paraphrase.
is the first time I've played against someone who's good at Maul.
If I'm
No,
in
it was
Dizzard's
really
shoes,
good. Yeah.
if I'm in Dizzard's shoes, I like Dizzard's version better. So I understand why he thought,
And-
why he interpreted it in that manner.
And the other thing was, I haven't played into Gar Saxon in probably a year, and like
Gar's
that
so
game was
good.
eye opening for what Gar does.
Oh, man. I'm
Um,
loving Guard.
I might be stocked slightly higher on Gar Saxon than even Bo-Katan at this point. Like I think he's being slept on. He's solid.
He is
That's spicy. I don't know. I go back and forth. Like if I played a game with Gar's better than Bo. If I just played a game with Bo's better than Gar. It goes back and forth just like that. Like
Well, yeah, it's what I was most recently abused by, so like it's a recency bias.
yeah. All right. I guess so. We'll go ahead and start with. Let's go with Matt. With what are you thankful for? Shatterpoint community.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start. I have a bunch, but I'm gonna start with one I think is a little less
He's
obvious.
thankful for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, for those of
Is
you
he
who
doing
can't
good? He's on my
watch,
fantasy team. Hang on, I need to check
it's
that.
Saquon. Of course, he's doing well.
What kind of
So
fucking
That's
question is
fair.
that, accuser?
it
Yeah.
was really interesting. So today I sat down. And I had breakfast with the guy who paints all my models. Like we meet up halfway. We go to a diner. We grab breakfast. We trade models and stuff. And he's GW player, always has been. I've been playing GW games with him. You know, we started almost 15 years ago. And just listening to him talk about the new old world stuff. And he was talking about how like, oh, it's great. GW is being so much more transparent, and they're talking about timelines for things, and they're being more engaged with the community. And I'm thankful for AMG doesn't make us have to be like, it's very subtle. And for those of you who have only played like AMG games where you can go on the rules forum and post something and it's answered officially within 12 hours, GW, like when I played 40K competitively, that didn't exist. Rules, you got an errata every 6 months, like when a box came out, when a new like faction came out or got updated. So you were just left at the whim of like, yeah, no, figure it out yourselves. And GW's official statement was like, yeah, roll a die to determine if the rule. If you and your opponent disagree, roll a die. And I think I'm very thankful that AMG is as customer forward facing as they are with communicating with the players. And I know for all of you guys, especially you guys came from the MCP background, right? It's not surprising to you as somebody who this is their first real AMG created game. It's very nice to see.
If I had to roll a die to see how a rule worked as many times as once a month, I would not play the game. Like,
That's a fact.
yeah, just like,
well, because that was GW's stance was always like, we're like, we make a casual game, it's a beer and pretzels game, and we make miniatures that are really cool. So they just don't care. Like they didn't have a big robust rules group because that wasn't their goal. And now they do. Like good on GW to figure it out, but as somebody who came into like that was my first experience in miniatures game, and I still made it. Like I'm still playing minis games despite that being my intro, because coming from Magic where you know they were updating rules. If they saw an issue with something, they would ban a card like on a Monday, just randomly like, oh, that card's banned, or like, hey, we're making a ruling on this. Like they were very proactive as well. So all you people,
let's not
every
talk
time we
about GW that much. AMG handles this
yeah,
minor
so I guess,
complaints
Very
about
well,
the
yeah.
occasional rule that takes them a little while to respond to. But for the most part, we have a very, very clean set of rules. And yes, I agree with Matt on that one. In general, AMG makes just really clean rules that are that make playing just a pleasure.
and I'm gonna add on a little like on thankful for our rules forum or monitors and the timeliness of their responses. Again, as somebody who came from GW, it's amazing when I can ask a question and get an official ruling. It feels so nice. Full stop.
Yeah, full stop. All right, I'll do one. I am very, very thankful for number one, like our community and you three here right now, because I probably would not be playing Shatterpoint again right now if it wasn't for like Accuser and like talking to Omnis. I don't think I would have gotten into Shatterpoint without Omnis, because like it was very much we were kind of going back and forth and like let's just do this. But you really pushed me into it. I mean I wouldn't be podcasting without Omnis. To be completely frank, for those that don't know, he's the one that originally said go for it and like helped point me in the right directions. And like I really am thankful for like all three of you guys for helping me get back on the horse and enjoying this game the way that I do. And then the community is like right there, like the Rogue support community, the Shatterpoint community, just miniature gaming community all together. Like everyone is very. I've been in different communities for different games, and I would say that there's just something about the Shatterpoint community that's just always positive, and it's amazing to have that feeling and be able to look forward to everything that has to come. It's about the friends we made along the way, you know. But yeah,
dude, I agree with you. Like, this is the first show that I've ever been like invited to be a part of, right? Like every other show I've made myself, and so there's just something special about like, no, we want you, and And like literally, we get done recording, and I'm like, I have to wait a week for us to do this again. That's too long. I miss everyone already. You guys are like asleep, and I'm like getting ready for bed like 2 hours later after the episode, being like, I want to record again. That was so much fun.
It's
I
our,
love you guys. I love our
it's-
show. We make something that I would want to listen to, and I fucking love that.
our weekly therapy session.
You're not wrong.
All right, let's jump to Accuser.
I mean, not to riff too much on the same thing, but definitely thankful for you guys. Not just because I love hanging out on Sunday. Like, I look forward to this every week. And I definitely, Omnis, like, I'm up for hours after this, despite being East Coast and usually ending, like, midnight. I'm up afterwards, like, just jazzed about the game and, like, tinkering with lists and stuff. But the other big thing is, like, you guys really have pushed me to be, like, a more competitive player and think about the game differently. And, I really appreciate that just because it's not always my wheelhouse. I'm definitely more like a theme guy. But yeah, I see the value of Dark Troopers and Rebels. I don't like it, but I get it. So that's personal growth, and I'm here for it.
All right, Omnis, hit us with something.
I feel like at some point we need to do an episode that's called Dark Troopers and Rebels. just for I don't even know what we're talking
Nope.
about during that episode. I just feel like that should be an episode name.
It's all wrong.
That'll be this episode's name.
Yeah, I don't know what the topic. We'll figure it out. Oh, that could be the episode that I do with Sarah Cruel while you guys are all gone and don't have any control over the situation.
We can record competing podcasts and we can do one up in Philly.
And
Do
you
a
can do
live
Rebel
show.
Rebel Commandos and Empire. Okay, so my first thankfulness is gonna be so like just in Shatterpoint, I appreciate how much the game doesn't feel solved. Right? You're still like figuring out like, oh, what was my optimal play on this mission pack? Right? There's only 3 and people are already like, oh, I want another one. But I feel like I constantly don't know. I'm like, should I be preparing for a different layout? Do I fully understand what the layout possibilities are? And how right now we're at a point where I just dropped a video of Hunter and Obi versus Armor and Mando. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, we might be seeing a big return of Obi. And I know he's always been reasonably popular, but if Armor and Mando is really popular, I do think that like potentially strengthens the place of Obi, and I'm excited for that kind of shift and stuff in the game and how much we could be potentially entering in, maybe not a whole different meta, but at least something that's adjacent, that's going to see some different characters slightly go up, slightly go down, and how does that affect things? What does that mean for my second list? So even if I wanted to play Revenge plus Republic, am I changing? Would I play Obi? Do I still play the same Revenge characters? Does that? And I enjoy whenever the wheels and stuff are turning, and so I'm glad that we do not have a solved game. That there's still interesting things to think about and plan and shift around, and I love that.
You brought up something that like made me think, and out of all the
That
miniature
never happened.
games that I've played, that you've played, Matt's played, Accuser's played, we've all played card games too. Shatterpoint is almost the most like a card game when it comes towards like deck building, to where one release can absolutely send it back to the past and bring up old metas because of one release. I've never felt that with another game. For miniatures.
Your first comment where you're like most like a card game, I was like, I'm out. Nope.
No,
But
more so
I
just
get-
bringing up old meta. Like I've never had a miniatures game where it's like one release can make us go back to the core box, or go back to like Obi, or Dooku or whatever. I've never had a game that I've really felt like that. Like MCP, I never felt like that. It was always like the progressive meta. With some people were playing some older stuff. War Machine, I never felt like old stuff would come out because of a release. It was always like you're playing the meta, and the meta's not changing.
Yeah, but I fundamentally agree. I think because of how close in quality the primaries are, we're just like, if you compare like the best secondary to the worst secondary, it's
Yeah.
pretty wide. But like it's a little bit more closed in for best primary to worst primary. And I don't think it takes that much of a release to have something that's maybe on the worst end of the scale where suddenly there's a bunch of cool synergies or how it interacts with something in the meta where, there could all of a sudden bring something back. Like, I don't think Vader 1 is very good right now. Do I think there could be a totally balanced, reasonable release that brings Vader 1 back? Absolutely. That would like not be difficult at all. And so I think I fundamentally agree with you there that the game does a good job of, it doesn't take that much to like spark interest for some of the maybe some of the stuff that you already own but haven't played in a while. And it doesn't even take an errata or a rules change or something like that.
Just one big scary coming out. It's like, oh, we already have like an answer for this in the game already. We don't have to wait for months to get an answer for this. It's kind of cool. Which I'll seal the next thing, and I think it's like, I love AMG for like the design of this game, for making these characters feel like the Star Wars characters. I love that there is like so much.
You stole
like,
mine.
I'm sorry. I love like what you said, like the gap between like the top primary and the bottom primary. I would argue most fundamentally comes down to your playstyle, and how you can pilot those characters. And I love having a game where I feel like the pilot's decisions matter more than the baseline character words. Like I truly feel that with Shatterpoint, where yes, you're gonna have your stuff like characters is good or your characters is bad, and you can't polish a turd, or you can only shine gold so much. But I do think pilot decision matters.
Was that
so
an
much in
armor helmet
Shatterpoint.
joke?
Yes. I do genuinely think that Shatterpoint is one of the games that I have felt that pilot decision matters more than just character text, especially at like top level. And I thank AMG for making a game that I feel is like on a competitive level extremely balanced, and it's just rare to make me feel that way.
Can we hit on that one for just a moment? Because
Sure.
I think because you remember how we were talking about at one point where like, how do you evaluate your play during a game? And so now that I'm doing the videos and I'm like watching videos and I'm watching like myself play, it's really interesting to me how easy it is after a game where you're just like, I don't know what I did to win that game. Like, I felt like I was making obvious plays. Like, I didn't feel like I did anything particularly clever. But then as soon as you watch a game or even watch one of your own games and you're like, this decision was so important. Like, and it's a subtle, like, go left versus go right, or position and engage someone or not engage someone. There's just so many of these little decisions that they don't seem active. They seem almost more like a passive decision, but there's so many of those over the course of the game that it's really interesting how much they matter. And it's not all big, crazy, spiky plays. It's these often really subtle, like 2 or 3 millimeter placement decisions that can change a game. And yeah, I'm with you. Like it's crazy how much they matter.
We said it like super early on in the game's life, is like the reserve mechanic could make or break your game. Like just reserving once could just set the game on a path that it should not have been on. Like it's insane. Like I think we talked about it during that decision episode, like micro decisions versus macro decisions, and like understanding the difference between the two. And I don't know if we'll ever be able to truly understand that.
I think one of the best things you talked about there was like the placement and thinking about it after the fact. Because I do the same thing. How many times like, oh, I could have moved this guy over to this objective and it would have mattered, and it would have made the difference. Or I could have been like one extra, half a range one closer, and it would have changed the shove math, right? Like, it's definitely impressive.
Blocking a ingress point, like placement afterward, like all that little stuff where you're just like, oh shit, like that matters so much.
Yep.
Let's go, Matt.
Again, trying to avoid some of the like I oddly, as much as we kind of disagree at times, I really appreciate other content creators. There's obviously a lot in Shatterpoint, and I try to absorb as much as I can when I can, but I like hearing what other people who think that they want to speak with kind of an authority and either see where I disagree or agree. And I think it helps keep me on my toes a little bit in terms of thinking, and even like the community in general, like hearing people's opinions. And I try to make an effort when someone goes like, "Oh yeah, try this." Okay, great. Well, I wouldn't have thought about that, but I'm gonna now give it a go because I heard somebody else tell me that as well. So I try to absorb all those things both as a fellow content creator and as a fan, and try to kind of wear both hats. But I appreciate it because this makes me think about the game from multiple perspectives.
All right, Accuser.
I want to shout out a particular patron who's been, I think,
Ooh.
pretty big in our community this past year, at least since I've been back.
Is it Sarah Cruel?
It's Sarah Cruel, dude. Like, I've got some really I've had a couple good games with Sarah Cruel. I learn a lot from that dude, and he's just a really just genuine awesome guy that you can riff lists or whatever else with. So yeah, shout out to Sarah Cruel. Really thankful for that guy in particular.
I did get to hang out with him in San Diego. He couldn't talk.
I'm still jealous.
But I got to hang out with him.
He's also going to be stepping in, if you guys didn't catch it earlier, when the PAX weekend, he is going to be jumping in and helping Omnis get an episode out.
Yeah, very excited to see what the two of you guys do.
Yeah, it'll be great when we figure it out. Like this. I think there's just so many things that Sarah Cruel and I want to talk about. We just got to narrow it down. But yeah, I'm excited.
Just redirect the conversation to how great The Last Jedi is. Works for us, right?
Yeah, that's how you and I bonded. I don't know if the same will apply. I'll just be like, bro, Timothy Zahn, right?
That's not a bad one.
Yeah.
What you got, Omnis? Give us another one.
As considering I just did an event yesterday and I was painting terrain, I am constantly amazed how much I fucking love Shatterpoint terrain. And even with just the official stuff, I'm blown away by how many different ways I can use the terrain, right? Like some of the raised elevation pieces that come in the high ground set. I did this whole thing and I was attaching them to the high ground tower, and I'm just amazed at how many different things this stuff comes with and how many different ways you could put it together. And I made a bunch of scatter terrain out of the antenna system, just glued onto a PVC cap that had textured gripping around the side, but makes it look like more than just flat surface. And I'm just I have fun setting up a table. That is not something I've ever experienced in another game. I find setting up a table in Shatterpoint to be fun. How the fuck did they do that? I don't know which person or what conversation came into making the terrain for Shatterpoint, but it stands above head and shoulders. Shatterpoint's a fantastic game, but the terrain for Shatterpoint is so far above any other game's terrain. It's insane to me. So I am very thankful for how cool the terrain is in Shatterpoint.
I think you're hitting on something really important here. It stands above most terrain by literally being centered around verticality, and I absolutely love that. The height matters, and I know that they brought that mechanic over to Legion later, but most game systems, it's just that's not a factor. But they literally made Obi-Wan's high ground commentary part of just the rule set, and I love that from a theme perspective.
Oh.
I also love that you don't take fall damage as a other side to that, because it's Star Wars, right? Someone's gonna force levitate them down to safety in the cartoon, or you're gonna tuck and roll off a passing land speed or something silly. It's a cartoon ultimately.
We got Ulysses in the chat. I also find setting up Shatterpoint tables to be fun. And I will say
a blast.
Yeah, I've most of the time MCP setting up terrain, I'm just I'm gonna put this here, cool. And Shatterpoint, when I set up tables, yes, I set up tables. It's kind of what kind of interaction can I get here? Where's the slider gonna go? How's that gonna affect the game? And just I do so many more decisions when it comes to setting up terrain that you don't normally have in a game, and it's amazing. I do love that aspect of it.
I love
never-
just setting up like the overlapping bridges. Like it's as simple as that, right? It's so Star Wars.
I've never wanted to paint terrain so bad. I'm still not going to, but I've never wanted to paint terrain so bad.
I appreciate that you
At least
want
you're
to
honest.
paint it more than normal.
Yeah. Okay, I got one. I'm just gonna brown nose a little bit more and we'll give AMG another kudos. I think that the way the boxes are designed is amazing. I love the fact that if I want to play something, I can just go buy a box and it's thematic. It usually works just as the box is. Like there's hardly any box. I don't think there's a single box that you can't just play with and it at least works a little bit.
Bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, fine.
Zing.
I will play the Bounty Hunter box, and you just put one on each of your premier list. There you go, boom. But I love the fact that I can buy a box, and whenever I try to convince somebody like to play or buy into Shatterpoint, it's always like, man, all you need to do in all reality is buy 2 boxes, and you're set. Like, pick 2 characters, and you can play this game. Like,
It's one of the
mind
coolest
tools and
things they did.
Someone came into my game store that just owned the Ewok boxes, and
Yeah.
literally just had 2 squads that were all Ewoks.
That's
Like,
great.
we got a guy that's like that too, where he just got the Ewoks, and that's all he did is he just ran the Ewoks. We got a dude who he was playing MCP with us, and he's like, I don't really want to get into this because I don't want to buy another game because you guys just got me into MCP. And then we're like, hey, just play some of our stuff. And the next thing I know, he's got 10 boxes. He bought like Obi and Plo Koon and Vader, and I'm like, what happened to
happens
not buying
quick.
anything? He's like, I
On
don't
that
know.
note, because I like kind of thinking about playing Obi, and so, but I really thought my first paint job on Obi, it was good, and so I really love the sculpt, so I don't really want to repaint it in my black and red.
Yeah.
But like Amazon Black Friday sales are going on, and I was like, the corset's like $90.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
Like, that's-
crazy good.
That's insane. But I was like, the Obi box is like 40% off or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
would I like an Obi box delivered next day to my house so that I can paint another Obi?
Can
Maybe.
I offer a idea for your Obi? If you're gonna do another core box, or if you have spare Mandos laying around, do Mando Obi from like when he's like helping out Mando.
Yes. That's a cool idea.
I do
And that
just
can be your
love- they're
Jedi out
such
of
a
hiding.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the pictures. All right, let's jump to Accuser. Give us another one.
Oh man, what could I say next that hasn't been said already? I had one and it like slipped away, and that's embarrassing live.
How about I'll
Um,
go so
okay,
Accuser
go
can
ahead.
You
pick
go
for a minute.
next. Yeah.
So taking a break
We
from
don't edit
shouting
this,
out
so
AMG and being like, all butt kissy. I just want to be. I'm so thankful that we have cool cons. I am so excited about LVO and Adepticon, and I know that you guys have PAX coming up real quick. I'm just really looking for, like, we're at the point now where like LVO's less than 2 months away.
Yeah.
Right. Like we are that close to LVO, and then Adepticon's only like
We are.
4 months away. Are any of you guys doing Adepticon, or is it just me?
Oh,
I really want to. I'm trying.
I
On the
already have a
fence.
hotel room, so
What's that, Matt?
I got a hotel room the second they
Oh.
went on sale. So yeah,
Hot. All right. So at least it's me and Matt.
yeah.
And you guys
LVO
are
and
coming out with
Adepticon
us.
were my 2 travel ones for sure.
Sweet. So yeah. So that's my shout out. Is I'm really looking forward to this stuff. I didn't do that many cons in 2024. It was really just I did LVO and then I did SoCal Open, and now I'm just so hyped to see everybody, to hang out, to play games, to run tournaments, see painted models, like all of that stuff. It's going to be fantastic. So I'm very con hyped at the moment, even though you guys have the closer con than I do.
I kind of want to double down on this, and the way that like Shatterpoint plays at cons like feels actually really good. Like the day just flies by, and it's kind of amazing. Where it's like other game systems that I've played, I don't know. It's just different. I don't know what it is. Like if somebody
I
could
wanted to
help me out
comment.
there.
When you came back from Nova for the
Yeah.
first time, I didn't realize that you hadn't done a con
Yeah.
yet. Like I could have just assumed like you were like, oh, Dizzard has just been a part of the community. So I just associate that with doing cons.
Yeah.
And like your level of hype really reminded me just how much, because for me, the first like con for this sort of thing was Lock and Load, which was local to me, but still big.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't wait a full year to do this again. I have to do another con. And that's when I found TempleCon and eventually LVO and then Adepticon and Warfare Weekend. And it's just something special. And I cannot stress, if you're watching this or listening to this and you haven't done a con for something like this, it's so crazy going to something where you're not made fun of for what you love. You're not just like ambivalent about what you love. You're not just like encouraged. You're like actively celebrated. Like you will just always have other people who want to play the games with you, who want to talk about the painted models, who want to talk about your list, and you are just around that for 2, 3, 4, 5 days or whatever. It's just something special where whatever your hobby is, definitely do a convention for it because it's like nothing else.
And if you're around me and it's allowed, there'll probably be a cooler beer nearby.
You're out of luck. at
LVO
PAX.
is gonna be.
I was gonna
great.
ask actually, I was like, can I actually have a cooler
I'm-
there?
I'm pretty sure the convention center is no on outside booze because I think they actually sell a little bit now.
Dizzard, will you ask me about this while we're not doing a live recording?
That's fine. I'll just go broke. All right, Accuser, did you think of your
I mean, I'm just now sitting here thinking about how exciting LVO is going to be. It's my birthday
Yeah.
weekend. As a side note, like this Sunday night is my birthday, so it better be good.
Accuser's turning 24. I'm excited.
Yes, we'll go with that. And also, I was definitely made fun of my first LVO experience, but that's because I brought my wife with me, and it was playful heckling.
Qui-Gon Jinn said he's gonna bring Wizards of the Coast minis to Adepticon. I don't normally play other games. I might have to do this. I might be like, Qui-Gon Jinn, can you build me this list? Like, actually, Qui-Gon Jinn, what I want you to do, if you're gonna bring stuff, can you just bring XR Kun and like beasts? And just like let me play that again. I'll do it.
Wow, that's a deep lore cut.
So in Wizards of the Coast Star Wars minis, XR like Beast didn't benefit from commander effects, but XR Kun was the one guy who could like his effect worked on beasts. So it was a lot of time you'd run him and like all of the random monsters from Star Wars. Like how fucking cool is that? Like I remember having the Reek from Attack of the Clones and like a Nexu and just like a whole bunch of random shit. Yeah, like I would totally like I'd play that at least once.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Hype.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm thankful for while I'm thinking about it, sitting here thinking about how cool the Rebel Commandos are, but ultimately, like, I'm really excited that we've got like a pretty good roadmap of things to be hyped about coming up. Like, I don't know what they do, but like, I can't wait to see what Cassian Andor and his box does, and I'm just really thankful that we get like this hype train for 6 months, right? Things to look forward to. Yeah, the game's always growing and evolving, but there's also, stuff coming next that you get to be excited about. Like, I feel like 2025 Rebels are going to maybe finally catch up with all the great stuff Empire has, and that's things to look forward to as we look to next year.
Matt.
Real short, easy one. Thankful for Am's recommendation to get those makeup brushes. That link was fantastic. I bought 2 sets.
Dude, they're so good, right?
I saw that you linked them. I'm like, all right, they seem good. And like, oh, I saw the sale price. I'm like, yeah, we're buying 2.
Wait, what was this
what's
for?
the sale price?
They were like $8.
Okay.
Something like that
But
for the box.
It's like a whole set of makeup brushes that I've been using for terrain. And
Makeup brushes are the best terrain hack.
Oh my god, it's so good. But it's this whole pack of different sizes of like I can dry brush at whatever angle I want. I can dry brush big wide areas. Like I don't know why I waited so long to get makeup brushes for terrain. But it's been fantastic. And they're so cheap. Like I don't care if I destroy them. Like
that's the idea, right?
That's
They're
the
gonna
thing.
get destroyed.
I just buy cheap bulk brushes on Amazon and just use them until they're like beat up and can't maintain a shape, and then I've got like a box of them just sitting here. Like, all right, rotate the next one in.
Yeah, I agree with what Ensign said in the chat. The roadmap without the rules is a lot of fun because of speculation. Otherwise, I feel like we're in this boat of like I'm glad we don't know what all of these like 2025 releases do yet, because it would just make it too much sitting around waiting. I think
I
it's
don't
more
need
of
to
a
know.
negative.
It's just like the cool stuff, and I think it kind of goes back to Diz's point earlier, right? Where like the boxes just like function on their own. Like I know I'll be able to pick up Cassian, K2, and Pathfinders and live out Rogue One. Or I mean, next year Andor's back on Disney Plus, right? So
I love not
live
knowing
that
the
out.
stats for what's coming
I
next.
don't need to know. It's great. I
Like,
could just look at the pretty models and be like, "Ooh, I know that from that thing." It's the Leo DiCaprio thing. Like, it's what I was doing when you're like, Exar Kun is like, "Oh, I know what that is."
it's just like, okay, I know there's some Republic stuff coming, so I should consider like getting the rest of my Republic stuff painted, which is perfect. Not I
We know there's a
when you say
shark
this-
guy coming for the robots. Like, that's amazing.
I had one. I lost it. Honest.
All right, I'll do so this is just a small part of like our show. I love that we've done the whole Star Wars shirt thing. Like I just end up with this random like search for Star Wars shirts like every couple of weeks. It's a small part of the show. I love that little added aspect to it. Even though Matt's wearing a Lord of the Rings shirt this time. Eagles save the day. That's the joke.
All right, I got you.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well
give me a
done.
second.
Wow, come on, nerd point for that one, right? But yeah, it's just a little part of the show. But I appreciate that we all embrace it. And I don't know, the listeners may not know, but there was a week, like a couple weeks ago, where Dizzard came on and was not wearing a Star Wars shirt, and I was just like, just so you're aware, if you don't change your shirt before we start recording, I am gonna troll you about it the whole episode. And he
ran off and
changed his
changed
shirt.
it.
Yeah.
I think it was specifically a Marvel shirt too,
It was a
right?
Marvel
Was
shirt.
it
Oh yeah,
X-Men?
yeah. It was also it was Marvel, yeah, for sure. I love that. Yeah, it's just one of the fun things. I'm really glad that we're embracing doing this video show, right? So cool.
Oh, they're
Dizzard, did
fun.
you remember what you were trying to do yet?
No, but that made me think of one. I'm thankful for
Sure.
you guys like joining the ship of like wanting to do the video shows, because I think it's a special interaction that you don't really get in other places. Like, sure, you can come on the Discord and chat, but like I love being able to pick out people saying stuff in the Twitch chat and like talking to people as we're doing it, and people get to contribute to the discussion, and it's just a super cool aspect that you don't normally get with like a podcast form, in my opinion. I just love doing it. I'm glad you guys were on board with continuing it.
Well, I remember back. So I went to Kingdom Con, which was Ross's con. Ross is now like the marketing guy for AMG, but he used to do a con called Kingdom Con, and it was very much like a drinking party game con that also did war games. But I only went once, but I still remember it was just one of the things that stuck with me is I was rooming with Flanzer for the people who are ex War Machine, and I remember just being back in the room, and he had like a YouTube on for, I don't know, League of Legends or something, and it was just guys talking about the game, and it was basically just like us, but they were talking League of Legends or some shit, and he just really kind of casually was like, I wonder why we don't have this. Right? And that was the extent of the conversation for the most part. But it stuck with me, and I tried to do it a little bit at the tail end of War Machine, and it's always kind of been a struggle, just because I don't think we're catering to an audience that normally like absorbs YouTube and Twitch like that much. But yeah, I'm glad that we're at least trying. Like I do feel like it's going to be the future of podcasting. Like most podcasts now are video shows where you ask most people and they just assume when you say podcast, you mean that it's a video show. So
It's
I'm
on
happy that
YouTube.
you wanted to do this.
Yeah, no, I love
Even
it.
now, Spotify, you can have video shows on
True.
Spotify.
That is true. All right. I'm just gonna throw it up if anybody has anything else they want to add in, say, be thankful, or just speak generally, the floor is open.
I think to build on the con point that Omnis you made earlier is the people who at the con who are running events and your community organizers and your play partners in your community. Because I think even like myself, getting into the game, kind of getting back into wargaming, if I didn't have, a close friend or two who I was playing with, and then also somebody kind of new in the community who I could play with, I probably wouldn't have been as motivated early. And I think that's a lot too. As someone who's come into gaming communities in the past, when there's somebody organizing it and doing a lot, putting in a lot of like the the labor of love stuff, I think it benefits all the players and just benefits community growth. So I think we all need to kind of be thankful for those people. I highly recommend reaching out to the person in your community who runs this and either just saying that you appreciate them or like seeing what you can do to help if you're interested. Little things go a long way. So
I have another one. So this is a little bit more local focused, but I am very thankful that my local community is really embracing letting me record games. And so I'm going to shout out Ryan and Donovan, Theana, John, Garrett, Jake, who have all like been a part of me recording games so far. And some of those games aren't making it all the way either because I messed up the recording or there's too big of a mistake in the game that it's not going to see the light of day. But I just really appreciate that everyone's been really accommodating to me. Like, hey, can you set up this stuff this way? Cause it'll look better on camera. Can I have you do this? Can I have you use these official tokens instead of this stuff that I think will be hard to read on the camera? And everyone has just been so like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And like so hyped for it. And I'm like always so nervous because I'm like recording commentary over people's games and like critiquing their play, which I know always has the potential of coming across wrong. But I'm trying to embrace it a little bit now. Like I remember watching Tyson teach people about painting at LVO where people would bring up his models and he would give them advice. And maybe I just have to embrace it more that way where like I'm going to record your game, right? Which is you have nerves, like all your mistakes are going to be on, but maybe you get something out of it where I point something out that like helps you and go, oh, I hadn't even thought of that. And somebody had mentioned after one of the videos, they're like, you were talking about how to do this particular play and it totally changed how I'm going to play that character. And I really appreciated that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to probably try to lean into that more. But yeah, just huge shout out to all of them. And honestly, everyone who's going to potentially let me record a game in the future. I'm glad that I get to do this and try to do some live games, not I'm recording them live, but people get to watch actual games being played in person and hopefully learn some stuff from that stuff. And yeah, and I keep warning people like, oh, this is really annoying. I wish that you wouldn't make me set up the cards this way. I don't want to be recorded, and I've gotten none of that. And everyone's been so fucking cool. So I'm really thankful for all of them.
I think an interesting thing there would be like, if you really want to lean into it, occasionally bring somebody else on and just do like a mass like breakdown of why somebody might have made a decision and like impacts on game, and like actually do like almost like turn it into a lesson. Like, and not all the time. I think it'd probably be a little too much to do it all the time. Like maybe like once every now and then, it would be really kind of cool to be like have somebody else on and really do like a real critique of gameplay decisions.
Oh, I definitely do. My only concern is they're long, right? Like if I have an 1.5 to 2 hour game, I need to like lock someone in to record with me for 2 hours. And then there's also the potential of like, if we do something wrong, are we going to commit to doing like another 2 hours of recording? Yeah. Or is it, and so there's just like that levels of it. And it's harder. Like, I feel like I'm good at podcasting. I'm not sure I'm definitely not as good at recording the commentary as I am at podcasting. It's its own skill. But yeah, I'm definitely going to poke you guys and be like, do you want to do commentary on a game?
I've done commentary for Legion games live at cons, so like I'm down to try it for Shatterpoint for sure. Yeah. But to also segue, like shout out to Tyson, because at LVO I did go and like he sat down with me for like 20 minutes and talked through like hey, here's what you did really well, and here's where you have room for improvement on this MODOK model. Like, I think that was one of the best parts of LVO. That dude knows his shit, and I really appreciated like that he sat down and took that much time at a con where he's running like how many like events did you guys have firing at any given moment? Like, and he's just like sitting down, like, yeah, here's how you up your painting game. I really like that from a hobby perspective. That dude rules.
We realized how popular it was going to be right away, and as soon as like the way that I was hearing players talk about it, as soon as he was doing it, I was like, Tyson, we just have to have the crew so that you don't have to worry about the events, because you're doing something that I absolutely cannot do. Like, I cannot give painting advice in the way that he does. He's so knowledgeable on it, and he's such a nice guy. He's like the perfect person to get that kind of feedback and stuff from. And so that is I strongly recommend taking part in his, I'm gonna say his, I say R for a lot of the LVO stuff because I work with him fairly closely, but like it really is his baby, and the painting stuff is 100% him. I really don't, I'm not involved almost at all. And yeah, I cannot even begin to express how much people have liked his painting critiques and how much it's helped. So definitely bring your best painted thing, MCP, Shatterpoint, and talk with Tyson, and he will give you genuine feedback as to how to be a better painter. I should do it myself, but I'm a little nervous, to be honest.
I got a good one here.
Okay.
I want to give a big thank you to anybody who has volunteered to be a TO or a judge, because that is a thankless job, and you are the real heroes.
I would like to express specifically that I would like to thank Todd and Aubrey for helping with LVO. I want to specifically exclude Matt because he argues with me about everything.
But thanks, Matt, for running PAX. It's going to be worth flying to Philly for it.
No, okay, we can express appreciation for Matt too.
All right.
As long as the
having
Eagles
done it for
don't beat the
Legion,
Lions.
it's a lot of work to like run a good one, and like it is definitely thank your local guys running events because it is a lot of work behind the scenes to make something like that fire. The guy who runs Legion locally for us, Jordan, I mean, just the amount of work that he puts in, like not even just painting tables and stuff, but like marketing the events. Like the dude goes hard. It is a job, like you're not getting paid for it or anything really, typically, unless, someone knows a hack. I don't. But it's critical to make games like this work. It's like where the community goes to play these things outside of TTS. So they're doing the hard work so we can all go and have fun and celebrate the game together.
Shout out to Mike, who runs the events at Nomads for me. So big shout out to him. I get to play in more stuff because of him.
All right, let's do one more around the table. One good one. One big close it out. Thank you. And I'm gonna pass it to Mac to talk in a while.
I just
I
got
I
the
got
last one that sparked all of that.
And I
Go
gotta
ahead,
think.
I'm thinking of my last one.
Yeah, I gotta think one. I feel like Honest has a good one. Heat up.
No, you gotta I've been very active in this one. Give me a little. I want to close out well.
I know. I'm trying to think of a good one, but I was like,
yeah,
we,
you
we
were
should
just
probably wrap this up. And, I just did one,
we
though.
can do one more good one. Accuser, can you tell us your favorite part about Last Jedi while we think about this?
I love what they did with Luke. Anyone who thinks Luke hasn't changed in like 30 years, no matter what was going on, like, come on.
Instantly
none of us
ready.
are the same person 30 years ago. Yeah. I love what they did with Luke, and I'll die on that hill. I hope that was enough.
No, so in thinking about lore, I think I'm thankful for things like the Dathmiri and like the Talzin box. I think it's really neat that AMG is willing to go. I know we've talked about it in the past, right? The AMG is willing to go grab like an obscure group of people and like models and characters that might be seen in 3 episodes of the Clone War TV show. It's like, hey, now this is a really cool unit that like everyone's going to learn about. So I think that's really cool. I like that from AMG that they're willing to kind of dig deep. And I think it shows we can get a lot of creative things coming out before they have to kind of do the duplicating. And like, obviously we've seen some duplication, but like at some point that's where we're going to go, is just releasing different versions of the same model in different times. So I think the fact that we can kind of go really deep is nice.
On that note, like Talzin, like I was debating getting into Shatterpoint when they revealed they pipelined Talzin specifically. That was when it was like, I'm buying into this game because they are going deep. Clearly, that's a deep cut if you don't know your show lore. That's the fact that they're doing that. Like, it's exciting to see what they come up with. Just because they're like they started with witches, like they were early. They could have gone any number of directions, but they went with that of all things. That's super cool for me.
I'm gonna pick some low hanging fruit, but it's still a good one. I very much want to thank the listeners of us and this content and the players of the game as a whole, because if we weren't all playing this game, there wouldn't be a game, more than likely. So keep playing and supporting the game and just talking about it, because I love discussing the game, and just I really am. It keeps my day going, to be honest, being able to communicate with everybody and have that connection to just. My wife's always like, "Why are you on your phone all the time?" I'm like, I'm nerding out. I'm talking to my friends, and it really does help me get through some days when it's a rough day. So I really am.
I feel that one.
Like it's like just like I hate social media, but man, do I love Discord. Because it's such a good outlet for me to be able to like talk to people about things that are going through my mind. Messaging Omnis at 3 o'clock in the morning, like just all these different things. Like again, it comes back to this the friends who made along the way, right? So.
And Dizzard, I just want to say, like, I know I occasionally tease you about like your approaches to list building, but I just want you to know I appreciate you, and I know you've had some people like shut you down in the past, and so I'm gonna take a special moment with Dizzard and just be like, I love that you want to talk about the game, and you basically always want to talk about the game in a really positive way. Like you're never messaging me to just like bitch about something. I feel like we were so on the board right away. We're like, when people were like, fucking Vader won, the world is falling, like the sky is falling upon us.
Mama
and, oh my God, it's
T.
all over. Like, have you guys not been playing Mama yet? Because she real fucking good, yo. And, and I feel like it's always been that way with us where we like, okay, there's a problem. Let's fucking solve this shit. And we haven't always been right, but, it's fun. And so I appreciate your special kind of Dizzard enthusiasm, and I'm very thankful for it. Even if I have to ask you to elaborate on your points a few times.
Be still my beating heart.
Yes. All right, I can do one if you guys need time.
No, I've got one.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've had like 2 or 3 really good play partners here locally, the past like year, let's say. So I do want to shout out a couple of locals. So we've got John, we've got Nate, we've got my buddy Quinn. You guys have all like pushed me to, first of all, you've been flexible with an in-person game schedule for someone who's got a 6-month-old at home, and that's great because it means I still get to play with my painted models and it's not entirely digital. But also pushing me to just be thinking about the game differently and playing my absolute best every time we get together. That way we're all learning from it. So thanks for that, guys.
All right, I'll go ahead and
go.
Hit
us in the face.
All right, so I'm gonna try to end like relatively big. I feel like we of all probably thought this about Shatterpoint, and if you haven't, we're probably not friends. But I am so fucking glad that they have like done the kind of Mandalorians that they've done in Shatterpoint. Like we had 4 different characters in the core set that were Mandalorian. And not only have we gotten the Mandalorian Din Djarin, but we have the Armorer and Paz already. I have always like I'm one of those people who saw Boba Fett and was like, that's just cool. I don't understand it, but I think it's cool, and I definitely like wanted to make bounty hunter characters. Like when I was playing like the old role playing game, like way back in the day, and the fact that we get so much emphasis on what's really like a side thing in Star Wars, and maybe the Mandalorian show is pushed that forward a bit, but they could probably be selling more models if they focused on original trilogy stuff. But I'm just really thankful that we have so many cool Mandalorians, and like they feel really good on the table, and I'm so happy playing them. And I love painting the helmets, where like painting a face drives me nuts, but painting a helmet, I'm always like, this looks so fucking cool. God, I love this helmet. And so yeah, I'm super thankful for those characters, and to a certain extent, like especially with the armor, that they seem to make a genuine effort to bring in the lady characters that maybe a game company that was purely concerned with selling the most popular characters may not have done all of these characters this early on in the cycle. But I love that there's that element, and that like everybody, I feel like almost everyone I talk to, their favorite character is available. Like there's just not that many times when people like, oh yeah, I don't have a character that I love that I can play yet.
Pre Vizsla is the only glaring omission in the Mandalorian lineup for me.
I have
But
faith in them though. They're
oh, I want a dual box for him and Maul. Like, just do that. Like, I know everyone wants the feed power generator, but that's easy, guys.
All right. Well, with that, thank you everybody for listening to us.
wait,
and
Matt,
on this. Matt did one, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
did you
I
do your
was,
closing one?
Yeah, it was the
Oh, okay.
them like the Talzin box and then
Oh.
Boongo to go deep in the lore.
Oh,
Jeez,
okay.
I can speak.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being you. Omnis, take us home.
Okay. This is going to be Star Wars adjacent, but I just had this thought during this episode, so I'm going to share it in the closing, which is the most Star Wars and Rogue support thing that you can do is name a pet after one of the people on the show, because I would love it if someone posted a picture of their cat and like, this is Dizzard. Later, nerds.
No.
Could be a loft cat.
What?
Challenge accepted. Somebody go name a cat after Dizzard.
Come on, how cool would that be?
It'd
Who
be the
doesn't
most-
want to
it
have
would-
a cat named
It
after
would
them?
end up being the most spastic cat that doesn't make any sense. Like,
The problem is that somebody will be like, "Here's my stupid goldfish that I named Omnis." I'm like, "Fuck."
I need to go get a goldfish now.
Can at least be
Uh.
like a beta or something. You know, those fish look cool.
Yeah, until you put it in a room with another one.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Thank you everybody for hanging out on the Twitch. It's been fun. We're gonna close this down. You guys have a great night.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting more and more interaction in